everybody, welcome along. Welcome to Flag to Finish on YouTube. Of course, I'm Mark Fanning. Reviews and previews are back, and we're back with a bang. I'm kicking off midweek. I was going away for the weekend to come in with Cheltenham Trials Day coming up, but I could not leave the Goffs Thyestes Day at Gorham Park. And the only thing I'm regretting about this meeting is I won't get a chance to be there. I have some other things on. I actually had the day off work and all to go, but I can't make it, which is it's kind of upset me. But look, I'll be able to watch some of the races sneakily on the phone when I'm away. But it's going to be a cracking day's racing, a 7 race card. But not only that, check out Gorham Park's pages for everything. Eddie Scally does a fantastic job down there. He's not only a racing manager, a racecourse manager, but he puts on a show. And by all accounts, the show will only be starting after racing. I believe After Dark are playing fantastic band from Kilkenny, I think they are. I used to listen to Matt the Millers back in the day when I was going out a lot more. But yeah, look, it's going to be hopping down there. There's plenty of for everything to do. Family, older, as Eddie said in an interview, I think I heard him saying it right. From anyone from get a coffee to a pint. And that's what it's all about, going and enjoying yourself. But look, there's a cracking card. It is a cracking card. It's a super tough competitive card too, which is, it makes it all the more harder to get winners, but all the better when we put the pieces of puzzle together. As I said, I'm back. I'm doing some live previews on my Instagram, but I want to come back on YouTube to give more of a wide or broader audience range and be able to share it on all my platforms rather than just fully focusing. And the main objective is to put more content on YouTube. I'm going to be starting a proper podcast, but look, I'm 2 minutes in and let's get straight to the action. As I said, there's a 12 race card beginning at 12:40. We have an auction maiden hurdle, 2 miles to kick us off, 9 declared, 4-year-olds plus. One that really catches my eye here, if all goes well, backing it up only from Thurles on Sunday. Philip and Charles Burns combining here, coming back to 2 miles after arguably looked home and hose in Thurles, but there's a long way up that hill. So coming back here, ran over 2.5 miles, beat a very good one of Henry's, but got ran down in the end by the Mullins combination of Mags and Danny. Mother and son combination, with looks a very useful proxy of Hilberry Hill. So interesting that Charles Burns backs it up here and brings it out really quickly here, only about 5 days after. So if all goes well, I guess for my vote here, I think this is a perfect opportunity. It looks on paper that he's only 2 or 3 to beat, really. You know, Gordon's runner, Philip Rothwell's All Night Revival, have that song stuck in my head now, and the top one as well. But I think if it all goes well, should get off the mark after, I think it's about the 6th time of asking for the Burns father-son combination. Then we're going to kick straight to a 2 mile 7 Adair Manor Opportunity Hurdle, 18 declared, 4-year-olds plus. But there's a very interesting runner here, runs in the very famous Philip Reynolds colours, of course. Used to have, as a presenting person, was that he won the Galmoy before going on to Cheltenham to win. I think he won the Galmoy twice actually. But this is Casanova's Dream. Gordon Elliott trains, but this is a very interesting jockey booking here. Josh Williamson, who has been applying his trade in the amateur ranks, has switched and now has his first ride as in the professional ranks, albeit he is, as I said, he's a claimant jockey, son of a legend, and arguably it runs in his blood. So we wish Josh a very safe passage through his career now that he's turned professional, and be interested to see his first ride as a professional. And Gordon is providing him here with Casanova's Dream. I think this 6-year-old gelding, first time in the handicap, 3 runs in maidens. Arguably his middle run was his best around Kilbeggan, when he was only beaten a length and a half of 16. And I just think here, I think he could be primed here, Casanova's Dream. Declan Queally was sweet on Weldell, so it could be interesting to take note. Michael Canini, of course, the claimant jockey find of the season, who has been applying his trade and been wrote down in some notebooks here. Declan Queally has been quoted saying that this was the plan since he ran in Leopardstown, I think it was, just at Christmas time. But I'm going to stick with the Casanova's Dream for me. Then I'm going to kick straight to the 3rd race on the card. We've 12 people here so get in the chat. This is a big big audience here on YouTube on my first video back. So get into chat and let's have a see what's actually. Can I apply the chat here actually? I'm streaming off the phone. Normally I stream off the laptop, but yeah, no. And I see, can I get the chat up? Maybe if people start writing in the chat, I might be able to see. But arguably, hang on, no, don't know what I'm doing. I'm after flipping around now. I need to take that off. I have a green screen. This is what happens. And we lost 3 people, now we've only 9. But look, third race in the car, the Galmay Hurdle, the supporting race of the car. This is a cracking race. I used to love this race, putting it together. Arguably, I tipped a few times the winner of this, and in the last couple of years has been won down some through some greats and on the way to Cheltenham, and more so on the staying side of things. But for me, I think Jerry Colomb, if he comes back to any way of himself here, he has the one they all have to be. Interesting that Jack Hendy keeps the fade here. We haven't seen him all that much in the last year or two. He's been out injured, but this lad was absolutely superb back in 24. Signing off in his 24 season. Actually, he wasn't signing off his 24 season. Yeah, he was, you could say. His 23-24 season by winning the Aintree Bowl, the Grade 1, beating High Senior by half a length. And then we seen him coming back in November for his 24-25 campaign in Down Royal in the Grade 1 up there. He was third, he was odds-on favourite that day, and he was beaten by MVLN. And the last time we seen him then was, of course, in December when he pulled up on his first start back in just over the year, about 13 months, and he was beaten by Affordale Fury. But interesting that Jack keeps the mount here instead of siding with Staffordshire Knott, who is favoured at the minute. But this is a stacked little race, 7 runners to clear here. You've got multiple Grade 1 winner home by the Lee, and Enigma. As I said, I used to always tip this lad and back him at big prices before he started winning big races, but he is an enigma. He's 11 now. JJ 11 gets on well with him. Joseph O'Brien's horse in form. Rocky's Diamond, the trainer, combines here Declan with and rides it as well. Who's, this lad is he's a solid enough campaigner, and at this trip I think he'll be seen to his best. The other query runner for an each way play, if there was 8 runners in it, would get my vote. Mossy's Sister. I think that I should say, could outrun her odds at 14-1. But for me, Jerry Colomb comes back, they all have to beat her. Mossy's Sister, maybe for a little bit of an each way play at massive odds. If it's over 14s or 16s, I'd definitely go maybe each way for 2 places, or even maybe without the favourite. But we're going to kick straight on then. The next race is race 4. It's a handicap over 2 miles. Again, it's fully declared, 22 runners. What do I fancy here? There's an interesting one here for me. Well, I go to the interesting one in a second, but for the one they all have to be for me here, I think coming in is King Bob. Couple of runs there the last day. Young fella Dylan Robinson takes the right here. I think King Bob for me, for Philip Rotwell, who's been in fine form this season, and I think King Bob for me is primed to win here. But the one that interests me now, I'm very interested as the competition is going on here. There was a big talking point in the county here was the Harty Cup, and Harty Cup runs in the colours of JP McMahon, is a big supporter of the hurling, so you'd imagine that he wants to have a good one with the name on this lad. But he's only after 4 runs now. They're nothing to write home about, but they're in maidens. He's his first run in the handicap, where we know that a lot of JP's runners first time in a handicap. Mark Walsh takes the mount here now. I know JP is only 1 runner in the race, so he would be taking the mount. Robert Tyner, very shrewd trainer, very daft trainer, who's he knows the time of day and get one ready, and could have a big say in the Thyestes later on. We'll chat about that in a minute. But this 5-year-old, as I said, having his first run in a handicap by Yates, he could be interesting. If the money comes, he'd be definitely getting my vote each way if it's each way price at the time. But for me, I think Rotwell's runner should pick up the pieces, and if Harty Cup is up for the challenge, or up for the match, as they say, he could be the one to get off the market the first time in a handicap. Then we're going to go to a beginner steeplechase. That was 2.5 miles here. I was given a squeak to a lot of these runners, trying to see could I find one at a price. But you know what? I think Willie Ones is running here. Paul Townend sides with this lad. He's got the choice of 3, and Finikalai Finikalu. I'm probably butchering the name, but for me, If you go back 2, 3 runs ago, was third in the Grade 1 at Aintree when well supported 66 into 12s. Danny took the mount. Paul's runner, I think, pulled up or finished last in the day, so Warren Wright was only beaten in the quarter by Honesty Policy. Then finished off that season when the novice hurdle Grade 1 at Punchestown and was 4th of 8, beating 22 lengths, but that was by final demand, so I wouldn't worry about that. And his first run over fences, Paul rolled it evens in the 8 to 13, so they well supported. 15th of December now, Mullins' horses weren't flying. They're starting, as I said, I keep saying it, they're starting to turn the screw, and before they did, and they're really starting to burn it up now. It was third behind Pretends Garde in the beginner's chase at Naas, and I just think that this Son of Storm of the Stars will take all the beating here. Butch Cassidy can outrun his odds though, I think, and could give a good account of himself if you want one for the each way for Henry Bromhead. I was actually in Ballinrobe and this lad won a bumper first time out green for Philip Fenton. Looked a good prospect, didn't win straight, didn't was switched over to Henry Bromhead, runs in John Magner's colours. Interesting, obviously that was eye-catching enough when he ran for Philip Fenton and then went to Henry Bromhead's, and then first run over hurdles won in Punchestown and was thrown into Grade 1 then, and he wasn't even double figure odds that day. Rachel rode her that day and was beaten 41 lengths by the Yellow Clay. Then was third in a novice hurdle, only beaten 3 lengths by Card Counter, and has 2 runs over fences. The last run was third of 10, beaten less than 4 lengths by Carasso Blue in Punchestown, and I just think could pick up the pieces here. Butch Cassidy walk in the park. They do get better with their runs, and they're very true and honest, like chasing types. 6-year-old. So yeah, that could definitely take my fancy each way to pick up the pieces. But I think Finicaloo, I'm after definitely shouldn't have said that one twice. William Mullins is runner. Anyway, we're going to kick straight to the feature race, the Goffs Thyestes Day, and this is a folklore race. One of those races that kept, I think they call it the race that stops the county down there. But it's definitely one of the ones that anyone, if you can't get down to see it in the eye, you'll definitely try and watch it somewhere, whether it's on the telly, in the bookies, or on the phone. 21 declared, but a maximum field of 18 can line up 3 reserves. Interested to see will any of those come out, and runners come out, specifically ones that are trained by other trainers, like Willie and Gordon have one each in it. Will any of theirs come out and one of theirs get a run? But before all that, we've got 18 that are declared in the race. This has been won by some grades down to 3 years. Notably, of course, Nick Rocket last year before going on doing an Aintree, win the Aintree Grand National with Paddy Mullins in the saddle. And that is the 3rd time that a horse has come out here and won the Aintree Grand National. Of course, Hedge Hunter with Ruby and Willie back in the day. And it was number 6 Valverde for the Brazil and Madden combination. Yeah, there's 3 that catch my eye really. Well, 2 catch my eye. Will do. I think he's bigly. He's super overpriced here at 16 to 1. Better Times Ahead, who is 6 to 1, just below him for Robert Townend and Mike Walsh in the JP McManus colours. When 2 starts back when Better Times Ahead was last seen winning at a Fairy House, beat Will Do by a neck. There's a swing when you take, and this Josh Williamson is getting his 2nd ride of the day now as a professional. There's a swing of £9 here when you take his claim into. There's a £4 turnaround here on standard weights, and Josh claims 5 off his back, so there's £9, and they only beat each other neck the last day. Better Times Ahead is 6 to 1. Will Do is 16 to 1. Now, Will Do has had a run since in Leopardstown. Jack rode it that day, finished 18 and 28, beating 22 lengths by Fab. But in those big handicaps, sometimes when they don't go, sometimes you can put a line through those runs. But on the penultimate start before that, you can definitely bring it into account here. Will Do for me. Will he do it? Not too sure. Runs in the prominent Gigginstown colours, but at 16 to 1, you're going to get a lot of extra places. I'm definitely going to take a chance here with Will Do. Could we see Josh Williamson landing a big one on his first day as a professional jockey? Then the other one that I think might outrun its odds is Spanish Harlem. Sean Cleary Farrell lines up here. Willie Mullins trains Sean takes £7 off of this 8-year-old gelded Spanish Moon as back, and that brings him only £3 more than when he's 2 runs back when he landed the Kerry National. He got £10 that day, and he won super impressively. Now he has had 1 run since in the Newbury Coral Gold Cup, and he was pulled up. Danny pulled him up, beaten by Panic Attack. One that has gone on to win a couple of races since, but in November. But if you take it, like when you put him up like that, there's obviously something that went right on the day. So if he comes back to himself here, the only time that Sean Cleary Farrell has rode this lad, he's won him in Punchestown back in June, so he knows how to ride him. Going the course after winning in the stall, it looks like he might need to keep to his own, and he doesn't like to be crowded. So I'd be interested to see what happens there. I think the key here is Sean's £7 claim, bringing him back down. He's in off 11.10. He's still lightly enough race. Like, he's only had how many runs over fences? He's only had 9 runs over fences. He's won 2 of them, and one of them was a Kerry National. So when he puts it all together, I think he on a going day at 20 to 1, you're going to get a bit of value for your money. And then the other one that I like, just at a massive odds, because I tipped it to run well in Turles. It didn't declare for the Kilknock Bred, a grade 2. She could be anything. She's a 9-year-old mare. Gordon trains here. Carol Miller takes a valuable 5 off of her back, and I was giving herself to run a good account in the Kilknock Bred. So you like in these big handicaps, they can tend to have different stories, and it can bring horses maybe into that mightn't necessarily bring it into smaller fields, but when they're big, these bigger field handicaps, it can bring a lot of them back into it here. Look, I'm not going to harp on too much. I just think at those odds and those prices, I'd rather take a chance with. I had 2 picked out, and then I said, look, Spanish Harlem caught my eye just at that. So I'm going to fire him in as well. It was going to be Will Do and She Could Be Anything, but we're going to put Spanish Harlem in as well, and at those odds, we'll take a chance at the euro, €2 each way. And the final race on the card then is a bumper. Normally a race, sometimes I leave out, sometimes I tip up, because some nice prospects runs in this. It's only 5 declared, but for me it's just a watching race to see what happens here. The top 3 are probably going to take the fancies. 2 of Gordon's, 1 of Willie's. Willie's one's interesting. Son of Maxios, who cost 60 grand, owned by the prominent colours of Bronson Racing, and they've had some nice winners in the last couple of weeks, and it'd be great to see another one here. This could be a nice type, but the top one, Hunting Boots, cost 160,000 as a store, and he is out of a half sister to the multiple grade 1 winner Identity Thief. So be interesting runs in those Gigginstown colours. Harry Swan, cracking rider, takes the ride here. And could this be another road to Cheltenham bumper? Look, I'm just going to watch that race at the last. Look, it's a cracking day's race, and hopefully everyone get down. I'm going to get back and do a review of this race along with a build up to Cheltenham the weekend. We're going to have a build up to the DRF, and then of course it's all roads lead to Cheltenham. It's been a quick year. I'm back here doing these previews and reviews now. Flag to Finish Race, and check out all my social media. Follow the page, especially Instagram, trying to really get that going. Again, it doesn't happen without people liking or sharing this video, and it only takes a second. So we've tipped some big ones down through the years. Hopefully you can get the ball rolling now again. And again, cheers guys.